What's up, everybody? I ain't put a video out in a while, so I figured I'd kind of update everybody who gives a damn on my situation. Well, yeah, I was supposed to turn myself in on the 3rd or comply with all the stupid fucking demands, and I've not done either. And a few days ago, they sent 5 squad cars to my buddy's house, who has let me get some mail there, and I stayed with him like 3 weeks back in 2020. I really don't know how they're gonna pick me up without picking me up in Kentucky or putting out a nationwide APB on my stupid fucking contempt charge. One reason I haven't put a video out in a while is because my truck was broke down and the world has fallen apart, and so parts and labor are difficult to come by. So yeah, I didn't want to put a video out because I was in that motel for damn near a month, from the 2nd until the 27th, I think, waiting on what should have been a simple repair, and I couldn't pull it off. My boss ended up having to drive the part from Nashville to Chattanooga, and I didn't want to give a whole lot of indicators of where I was, because, like, I'll tell you now, I'm in fucking California, but by the time anybody figures out where I am, I'm not going to be here anymore. So, but I was in Tennessee, and they probably wouldn't even extradite me if they did pick me up in California, but they probably would from Tennessee. So I was trying to lay low, but like, they're not tracking my debit card use or anything like that, apparently. So yeah, they sent 5 squad cars to harass my buddy. The head cop or whatever on the job reports himself to be a big libertarian, defender of liberty, and gave my buddy his personal cell phone number to give to me. So, long story short, wound up talking to him about 2.5 hours. The guy is very libertarian. He actually owns up to the fact, understands that every paycheck that he receives comes from money stolen from people. He understands that taxation is theft. He cannot break that link of compliance makes you a good person, for him or for me. He thinks that because he's part of this system that does take down bad guys, that that makes him the good guy, even when his behavior is tyrannical. You know, he was like, so are you telling me like I'm evil just because I arrest somebody for marijuana? I was like, listen, do they have the God-given right to grow that? And are you infringing upon that right? Then yes. I'm not saying you're evil, but that action is fucking evil. You know, I could not pop that fucking fuse on him. Hopefully I gave him something to think about. He's still got my phone number. Well, he's got one of my phone numbers. I'm hoping I gave him something to think about, and at some point he realizes, holy shit, just keeping my job is a contradiction to my values, to my principles. And I told him, you know, because he's talking about all the good things, he's, you know, pursuing murder cases and rape cases And he was like, somebody needs to do that. I'm like, I agree, somebody needs to do that. And you know what? If you're defending somebody who has been actually victimized, then yes, you have the right to do that. You know who else has the right to do that? Everybody. Every motherfucker on the face of the planet has the right to defend themselves and others from being victimized. He's trying to talk me into giving up, and I'm trying to talk him into giving up. Yeah, so it was a very interesting conversation. Long story short, I couldn't break that fuse, but hopefully I gave him something to think about. You know, whenever I would box him into a corner where he knew that he was sacrificing his principles, if he drew things out to its furthest logical conclusion, he would and immediately go to, listen, I'm going to sleep fine at night because I know I'm a good person. I'm like, okay, but have reasons why you know you're a good person, not just because you can't live with yourself if you're not. Well, I'm not evil and I'm going to, okay, well, what's the evidence? What does the evidence say? So yeah, man, you wind up going down rabbit trails. This is why I quit the podcast. This is why, well, they booted me off Facebook, but I don't do social media at all. Because basically I'm going, hey, listen, man, guess what? 2 + 2 is 4. And they feel like they're explaining to me that 2 + 2 is 4, and I don't get it. Except from when I lay out the evidence of why, well, they're always going to resort back to practicality and abandon their principles when it becomes apparent that they would have to sacrifice their principles in order to remain free. And like, the average Joe in this world has just accepted that 80% freedom is freedom because it's the only world they've ever known. It's the only world they've ever lived in is 80% free. So yeah, that's the situation with my court case and everything. And here's the thing, like, I'm gonna comply. Yeah, I'm gonna drag my fucking feet as long as I can, but I have to, if I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing for a living, my CDL is gonna expire in April, and I gotta walk into a fucking courthouse and update it. And the only place they'll let you do that is at your local courthouse. And my local courthouse makes you disarm before you go inside. But that's okay, because the police will protect you from everybody except for them. So, you know, I have to get that government permission slip every 4 years. It says, yes, you are allowed to go earn a living. And they will cancel my CDL, and, you know, threats of violence against anybody who hires me, despite millions of miles accident free, doesn't matter. They need government permission to work, and they need government permission to hire me to work for them. So, okay, enough on that topic. I've been listening to a podcast that I really like. It's called the Biker Lifestyle Podcast, and it is fucking amazing. These guys are very libertarian. They don't talk about politics, but even their philosophy, that's the reason I never joined the club, is because this same guy that is talking about, you know, living free and doing what you want, and I haven't heard him say, as long as you're not hurting people yet. I'd really like to hear him say that, but I think he understands that. From what I gather, is that, you know, it's okay to have as much fun as possible as long as it's at no one else's expense. That's a great way to live life. But, you know, the only reason I would join a club is because I know that I have backup when somebody tries to infringe upon that or stop that. And these clubs don't offer that. If you need a place to hide out, yeah, they'll give you that. But nobody's pointing guns at cops for you. They're not that kind of brother. A lot of these guys are military, or military sympathizers, and that's another reason I never joined a club, is because I'm gonna tell you my views on military. And, you know, if you were in the military, then I see you as a victim of propaganda that caused you were already in the cult, but you decided to go next level into the cult. You decided, you know, I want to be a captain in the fucking cult. The true idea of liberty, that there are no special people that have the right to infringe upon other people, to infringe upon their liberty, is foreign. Nobody gets it, and everybody thinks they get it. They want to protest, they want to beg their masters for longer chains instead of just telling them no. 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 So this guy's talking about how when he was a prospect, that he's in a motel room and beds are full, so he's got to sleep on the floor. He gets up to go smoke a cigarette and comes back, and somebody took his fucking pillow. So he was already sleeping on the floor. Somebody took his fucking pillow. Because, you know, you're gonna treat prospects like shit. How the ever-loving fuck is that not a contradiction of everything you believe in? You know, if I was in a club and I'm prospecting and I come in and somebody took my fucking pillow, I don't care. I'm ripping it out of from under his fucking head, and if that costs me my patch, oh well. I don't want to be part of your fucking organization, because your organization is nothing but bullshit hypocrites. Now maybe once you're in, once you have told them, hey, I'll be your bitch, then maybe you don't have to be their bitch anymore. But then you get to treat other people like a bitch. No wonder so many military guys wind up in motorcycle clubs. It's masochistic. It's mental illness. It's mental illness to think that in order to be treated like a fucking human being, I first have to give up what it means to be a human being. This is my goddamn pillow, motherfucker. And no one has the right to take it. Not a single soul on the face of this goddamn earth has the right to take it. What they do have is the power to take it. And you gotta give up your power to not be abused in order to be considered an equal. Fuck that. You know, I wanted to start a club. I had patches made up, and the only people that I felt deserved a patch didn't want to be part of it, and the only people who wanted to be part of it didn't deserve a patch. So I was a club of one. I put the top rocker on the top of my cut, never put the center patch on, and I would never have a bottom rocker because I don't have a territory Nobody has territory. If I was to put Somerset, Kentucky at the bottom of that rocker, that's basically saying, I control this shit. I own this. No, you don't, motherfucker. You don't own a goddamn thing except for the shit that you own that you paid for. So, once again, I'm alone out here. I got spoon dog for self-defense and a shitty little firearm. You know, I would love to start a club with anybody who's interested. Back when I was considering being in a club, I did hang around a club a while. I hung around some guys in the club, and you know, it just wasn't. Couldn't make a love connection. But if anybody is interested in being in a club, there are 100 ways to test loyalty without trying to rob somebody of their humanity, their right to property. Or I think there's a million fucking things you can do. You know, I can hand you a envelope full of cash, tell you to hold on to this for me for a while, and then wait until I know you're in financial hardship, and then say, yeah, I need that envelope back, or drop it off over here to this guy. You know, you can have your old lady hit on the guy when nobody's around. See what he does with it. There's all kinds of ways to test loyalty, to see what people are made of, without trying to rob them of their humanity. And I don't see a single fucking inkling in this world of anybody who understands where I'm coming from. The closest thing I ever found was motorcycle clubs, but they still go against, you know, I'm listening to these guys talk, and you know, they're making fun of the people who say they don't want to join a club because, oh, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. When like 5 minutes before, they're saying that the reason, you know, they live their life the way they do is because they believe in freedom, but not when they're the ones infringing on it. It's fucking bullshit. And it is, motorcycle clubs are a place where people who are among the most free-thinking individuals in our society today congregate. But the most free-thinking individuals in our society today accept that you got to be a little bit of a slave. And I don't. And I'm never gonna. And I might die lonely, but by God, I'll die right. All right, that's long enough for today. Light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe you.